ever notice how goalies are the only hockey players who dress like they're about to walk in to a welding accident on purpose? Everyone else is out here like, yeah man, I'm wearing a jersey and a dream. And the goalie's like, correct, I'm wearing body armor and I have seen things. Today's lens player is Jacques Plante, and this game is a perfect little demonstration of his whole superpower. He lowers the temperature of the entire building, not just the puck, the building. And tonight, the Blues win 3-1 because Plante doesn't just stop shots. He stops the game from turning into a problem. Goalies like Jacques Plante are OSHA violations. January 17th, 1970, Kings at Blues, St. Louis 3, LA 1. Welcome back to the Blue 100. This is episode 5. Our lens player today is Jacques Plante. The game is January 17th, 1970, Los Angeles Kings at St. Louis Blues. And the Blues win 3-1. Today's idea? The calmest person in the building controls the building. This is not a goalie stands on his head game. Nobody's crawling out of the crease like they just survived a war movie. This is a control game, a math game, a we will not panic today game. And Jacques Plante is the perfect lens for that, because Plante plays goalie like a man who already read the ending. He's not reacting like, oh no. He's moving like, that's what I thought you'd try. And when your goalie plays like that, the team in front of him gets calmer too. Less scrambling, less reaching, less, oh no, not like this. You can feel the confidence spreading outward, like heat from a radiator. Except in this case, the radiator's a French-Canadian goalie, wearing enough padding to survive a small meteor strike. Jacques Plante, born January 17th, 1929, catches left. Listed around 6 feet, 175. More important than the measurements is the reality Plante isn't just a great goalie. Plante is one of the guys who helped turn the position into an art form. And he's not just famous for the wins, although there were plenty. He's famous because he looked at hockey and went, well, this is stupid. We can do this better. He played angles like geometry was his native language. He carried himself like the crease was a courtroom and he was the judge. And here's the big thing with Plante. He's not chaotic. He's not emotional. He's organized. He's the kind of goalie who makes the other team feel like they're late to a meeting. Some players bring energy. Plante brings a spreadsheet. And now we've got to talk about the thing that makes Plante feel like he stepped out of the future. The mask. Because goalie masks are normal now. You can't imagine the position without them. But back then, wearing a mask wasn't safety. It was seen as a statement, like you were admitting something, as if protecting your face was cowardice, which is hilarious, because the brave alternative is letting a rubber bullet hit you in the teeth for a living. And Plante's whole thing was, I would actually like to continue owning my own face. He becomes the first NHL goalie to wear a mask regularly in games, and it changes hockey forever. And the reaction from hockey wasn't, oh wow, good idea. It was more like, wait, are you allowed to do that? Like he bought a calculator to a sword fight. But that's just Plante. He doesn't care how it looks. He cares what works. If you want the whole philosophy of Jacques Plante in one image, that mask, calm, practical, slightly terrifying, like a man who is here to do a job. And your job is to fail. Protect your face, an idea that hockey invented in the year 1970. Plante didn't just change hockey, he changed dental economics. So here's where we are, January 17th, 1970, St. Louis Arena. Kings are in town. The Blues are 21-13-7. A real team with real ambition. The Kings are 8-27-5. Look, we've all had months like that. And this is the kind of matchup where a good team can sleepwalk into danger, where a good team can treat it like a professional obligation. Do the job, don't get weird. Don't give up the kind of goal that makes your coach start staring into the middle distance. And Jacques Plante is the perfect do-the-job goalie. He doesn't turn this into an event. He turns it into a routine. First period starts, and the Kings immediately do the thing you can't do against a better team. They take a penalty early. 2:14, Dale Rolfe. Tripping, which is basically an engraved invitation that says, Dear Blues, please begin scoring now. And the Blues oblige. Red Berenson scores at 4:01, assisted by Tim Ecclestone and Barclay Plager. Blues up 1-0. Now, LA answers back. At 6:02, Ted Irvin ties it 1-1. Assist from Bill White and Jimmy Peters. And here comes the important moment. This is where a weaker team tries to ride adrenaline. Get loud, force a swing. This is where the Blues, behind Plante's 5, just calmly say no. At 8:50, Andre Baudrias scores even strength, with an assist from Bill McCreary. The Blues are back up 2-1. And guess what? That's the game winner. That's the we're not letting you believe in this goal. The Kings tie it and the Blues responded like somebody turning the thermostat back down. Second period is, basically, nothing dramatic happens. And that's the point. LA tries to make something happen by taking penalties and messing with the rhythm. At 2:22, Rolf gets called for interference. 11:53, Lonsberry hooking. Then St. Louis takes one too. 14:04, Barkley Plager takes one for hooking. So no goals in the second, and honestly, that's a Plant game. Because when the goalie is stable, the team doesn't get antsy. They don't press for insurance, like it's a desperate need. They just keep doing the job. Third period, Kings still down one. They're alive, technically. And then they do the thing you absolutely can't do. They take another penalty. At 3:37, Skip Craik, hooking, and St. Louis ends it instantly at the 4-minute mark with a power play goal from Tim Ecclestone, with assists from Ab McDonald and Red Berenson. Blues up 3-1. It's the dagger, and it's not flashy. It's just inevitable. After that, it's Plant shutting the door the clean way. No drama. No, are we sure? Just game over. This is one of those games where everything lines up perfectly with the thesis. Shots, Blues 28, Kings 21. That's control. Power plays, Blues score 2, Kings score 0. Penalty minutes, Kings take 10, Blues take 4. That's the difference between competitive hockey and volunteering. And then our goalie comparison. Plant has 20 saves on 21 shots, a .952 save percentage. Desjardins, 25 saves on 28 shots for an .893 mark. And look, I'm not here to blame Desjardins. If you're on the road, your team takes a pile of penalties and St. Louis is organized, you can't be slightly worse than the other goalie. You have to be a magician. The Kings' discipline tonight is what I call optimistic. Here's the part I want to land. Jacques Plante doesn't just stop pucks. He sets the tone. He makes games feel smaller. He shrinks possibilities. And that affects everything. Your defense doesn't scramble as much. Your forwards don't cheat for offense. Your bench doesn't get jumpy. Your power play stays patient. And a goalie like Plante turns a game into a hallway where every door's locked except one. And eventually the other team realizes, oh, we're not breaking him tonight. And that's why tonight's idea works. The calmest person controls the building, because panic's contagious, but calm is contagious too. And if you're building a franchise's identity, in the early years, in a young system, everything new, having the goalie be calm makes everything easier to build. It's like he's holding the blueprint still, while everyone else tries to hammer nails in the windstorm. So that's the Blue 100, Episode 5, Jacques Plante. January 17th, 1970, Blues win 3-1. And it's a beautiful little reminder that winning isn't always loud. Sometimes, winning is just professional. 2 power play goals, quiet middle period, a door closed in the third. And Jacques Plante doing what he always did, making hockey feel like it's happening on his schedule. Next time we keep rolling, we're headed for episode 6. And our tease for that one is Gary Sabourin, which is perfect, because his name, Sabourin, sounds like a guy who shows up with a mustache and steals your lunch money in French. I'll see you in the next one.